Hey everyone, welcome back. We are going to look into HMH. We are going to look at one of their hidden gems, which would be their book clubs. So, if you've never done a book club in your classroom, it is one of the best ways to actually get our students to start expressing themselves using their oral language academically. That is almost impossible, it seems sometimes. They have a great way of talking informally, but when we want them to hone in and have a little bit more of that academic, accountable talk, it seems to get a little bit harder. So, this is a great way to help them get to that point where we want them to be. There's two ways that you can actually get to your book club resources. One way is you can go through the modules. You can click on the modules, it will give you all the resources and you can filter them. I want to show you a little bit of an easier way on how to get to it. For today's purposes, we are going to work with Module 1. We're going to go down to where it says Student Choice Library. You will notice that Module 1 is all about inventors at work. So all of the reading experiences that students get, the projects that they get, the worksheets that they get, they're all going to have to do with inventors at work. So this is very theme based. So you're going to click on Student Choice Library. Once we click on Student Choice Library, you will notice that you have all of the module resources right here. I'm going to filter a little bit more so I can just focus on Module 1. So I'm going to click right here where it says Table of Contents, select from Module, Module 1, Inventors at Work. And these are the three resources that you are actually going to use. You're going to use your focal text, your discussion guide, and the actual printables for the students. So let's start here with the focal text. We're going to open it so you can see it, but I also want you to know that you can assign this to students digitally, and we're going to look at why that is so valuable to assign it digitally. And then you can also add this to your plan. So I kind of like to have my resources all in one place. I don't like having to look for them several times when I need them. So I would just click on add to plan, click on first 6 weeks, and then click add or whatever you choose to name your plan. I named mine first 6 weeks. I'm going to cancel it because I already have it added to my plan. Let's look at our focal text. So our focal text for Module 1 is Girls Think of Everything. Here's why I love to have this done digitally. You also have this in your student consumable, but here's why this is so special. So we're going to click over to the actual page where the story starts. Let's click to this page. So there's a few different options of how students can read this. They can, of course, just read it to themselves. But what I like is that this will actually read it to them. So I like to make sure that my highlighter's turned on. And then I press play audio.
Women have always
I'm going to pause that. I just wanted you to see that someone will actually read, a voice will come on and read this to students. If students want to make notes, I know that annotating is so big in third, fourth, and fifth grade. Watch what they can do. You can just highlight, take your mouse and highlight a sentence that you think is important, and then your highlighters will pop up. You can also underline it. So I'm going to underline it. I'm also going to highlight it yellow, and then I can actually make a note here. And this can serve for my digital annotations. Once I start to make notes, I'll show you over here. If they click on notes, they will start popping up right here. You can see that I've already added one. This is my second one that I just added. And so it will just accumulate right here in this window where they can go back and see them when it's time for them to actually start having these discussions. So I think it's a great idea for you to go ahead and just assign this to them on that digital platform so they have it and they can manipulate it the way that we are. So let's go ahead. They also have right here, if you click more, where you can zoom in or zoom out. You can make it 1 page or 2 page. And for teachers, if you're actually using a Google Classroom, you can press Google Classroom. It will communicate to your classroom, post it as a material, and they have it there as well. So let's go back. This is the text that they're going to work with. I just wanted you to see that. Let's go back because now I want you to see the book club discussion guide. This is the teacher's discussion guide. So it's going to tell you important vocabulary they need to know, also give a little background and culture, some key ideas that they should take away by the time they've actually finished reading this. It also gives you your meeting 1 to 2, meetings 3 to 5, and then your group projects. So, the fun part about book clubs is that they always have projects that the students get to pick from. So, giving them a little bit of autonomy on how they want to show us how they've mastered the skills that they've been working on. Here's a little tip on how you can generate interest, also how you can set the expectation for the students. And then here's the projects that they will pick from. And you'll notice anytime in HMH you see a blue link, you can click on that and it will take you to the printable for it. We'll keep scrolling down. Here's your discussion guide. This is going to take you to the student discussion guide. We're going to look at that in a second. But here's your meetings. This is what you're discussing during the meetings. And they've also added the English learner support. So, how you can help support those ESL and ELL students as they're trying to participate in these groups. And so, students essentially will read some pages before they actually meet with their group. That way, they have an idea of what they're going to be discussing, and it makes the conversation more enriched. So, meeting 1 is all about getting started. They're going to look at making some predictions, making some inferences on what they think it'll be about to really build that background. Then you have meeting 3, meeting 4, and meeting 5. So, let's look at the actual student teachable now. So, this is what your students will actually get. So, name, date, all the members in their group. This is what they will do before. So, this is meeting 1. They're just trying to build up what they're going to be reading about, give them a little purpose setting. And this is the important part. So, they'll need to set their next meeting. And so, you, as the teacher, will help them set their meeting. And then here's their checklist of what they need to do before they have that second meeting. Then, when they have their second meeting, here's what they will discuss. Here's what they need to do before that next meeting. And so you'll notice that this is set up so the meetings that they have are very purposeful. So now, meeting 4, they're actually going to look at what are they going to do for their project, when is it due, what is their task. So usually book clubs are about 3 people. They have their task right here, they have their names right here. And so this would be printed out. You can print it out and put it in an interactive journal. You can print it out and put it in a folder and make just like a book club folder for them. Put some hole punches in it, however you want that to look in your classroom. But it definitely has to be accessible to them so they can grab it and work with it whenever it's time for them to do their book club. So book clubs are usually during rotation time, during center time, during project time, whatever time you've established in your classroom, that's when they'll work on their book club. So today we looked at book clubs through HMH. We looked at what the text looks like. We looked at some features of the text. We looked at the teacher discussion guide, and then we also looked at the take and teach printables. We'll see you next time.